Okay, we're talking about it's UFC 300. By the time this drops, UFC 300 already passed. But you were asking if it's like WrestleMania, and I was telling you how it's the reason why I love MMA and boxing is every single second is sudden death overtime. Just like other sports, where when it gets to sudden death overtime, you're at the edge of your seat because your team might lose any second, any play, every block, every whatever. It can go down. And in MMA and boxing, every single shot, every single submission attempt, every single whatever, you're at the edge of your seat, like, holy shit, my guy's getting staggered. And it gets even more intense because in MMA and boxing, like you were asking if it was like wrestling,
Mhm.
um, it very much is because people in MMA go back and forth trash talking, and we have personalities. Some personalities feel a little cultivated at times. You probably
Yeah.
seen like memes and clips where some of these fighters come on a podcast or like in social media and they're saying things and it's like, are you like it works? They're like in wrestling they have heels
Well,
and
they're
they
entertainers at that point.
right.
Like they're playing like a character. But yeah, it's very interesting. But I'm excited to see. I'll try to watch the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. But just
Oh shit.
like either way it goes, it's just bad. Like you're getting beat up by a retired old man, or he beats up a retired old man. Like I just, you know,
Okay, so this is intriguing to me. Number one, the fact that Netflix is getting into live sports is like
mhm,
beyond this. This is a tester. Let's see what happens.
yeah,
But if this moves forward, that's interesting because that's a
yeah,
that's a whole nother ballgame. That
yeah.
Netflix is like, we're gonna throw some money around, do live sports. Interesting. Okay, let's see where this
Because
goes.
Netflix is definitely like lacking. Because I like have Hulu, and then I have the live sports. Plus now they have Disney Plus on it. Like that's a package. But
Yeah.
so
They
yeah.
needed competition. For the longest time,
Mhm.
Netflix is just cruising. And now like Disney, I remember they had the Punisher and all that, which was amazing. And Disney pulled and Marvel pulled all their like branded content and everything got pulled from it. Netflix got lost some big titles and now they got real competition. So you have to start bringing
Yeah.
people something new. Like competition's good. Competition is a good thing. It makes you pick up your feet a little bit. Otherwise, you're just dragging your feet. But
Yep.
with the Jake Paul Tyson thing, you're 100% right in terms of, these both relate to powerlifting that I was going to ask you about. This is
I
good that we're talking about it. First off,
yeah.
talking about how we'll get into how the 84s for a long time did not have
Mhm.
competition. One woman show that now is super competitive,
Yeah.
very getting deeper and deeper, amazing showdowns, and interest has gone through the roof. And then also to the point of personalities, where I was talking about how, in other team sports, we for sure have personalities. Kobe, a personality, Michael Jordan, a personality.
Mhm.
But in individual sports, and I'm not going to call wrestling a sport, but MMA fighters and boxers took cues from wrestling on how to hype an event. Like, for instance, WrestleMania. You were like, isn't WrestleMania going down this weekend as well as UFC 300? I don't know if they're the same weekend, but I know they're close.
Yeah.
And to your point, how does pro wrestling hype an event? You need storylines. You need skin in the game. Like, oh my God, is my gonna win or lose? And MMA and boxing, sudden death overtime type deal as well. And it's the same thing where it's like, oh my God, is the you care a little more right now in the
Yeah.
59s. Fedoshenko and Wasker are going back and forth. Didn't see that coming. And they're like talking shit. And nobody
Yeah.
cared about the 59s before. They're just too small human beings to be strength athletes.
It's how you do it, and I just think a lot of people don't want to do it because they might take it too far, or like,
Yeah.
or they take it too personal. I don't know. Because I've said stuff, and then it got back to me that like, oh, this person now doesn't think that great about me, and I'm like, it was a little banter, like competition banter, you know. Like, yes, I'm gonna hate your guts on the platform, but like, I'm not gonna hate you as a person, or just overall. But it's like it's a competition thing. But you said like knockout stuff, like like every hit is it's a chance for like it to end. It's like same thing with powerlifting, I think. You only have 9 chances to
Mm.
really make it. Like we're even seeing that now with like collegiate nationals. Like I know a couple people on Midland, like they miss 1 or 2 attempts, you know, they don't win.
You're done. Yeah, you're
So,
done. You,
so
you can you can literally bomb out and your day ends.
mhm.
Like in the battle of the 84s at Worlds, these
Yep.
ladies were pushing themselves to the brink, and Bonica felt the pressure as like the returning champ, the GOAT 84 plus in terms of her resume. It's amazing. And she
Mhm.
felt pressure for the first time in maybe ever, really, to feel real pressure, like, oh my God, I might lose. It was the first time.
I think the first time she ever felt like actual pressure was 2021 Daytona Nationals. She had that squat record taken from her
They went back and
from,
forth.
yeah, they went back and forth with the squat record. She ended up with the squat record, but I just, yeah. And then I was like, um, my coach at the time like knew her and her ticks and was like, okay, we're gonna match her on all her benches. So that's what we that's what we did. And that upset her because I had a better position. So I always went last. So she would go and then I would go. But we even knew that ticked her off. So it's just interesting to see.
But you were like so young at this is not you were not the same woman you are now.
No, no, not at all. I even at that point in time, that was when you could, go to worlds within USAPL powerlifting.
Right.
But I didn't even know if you won that meet, you went to worlds. Like my coach was like, "Yeah, you should go to this meet." I was like, "Why should I go to that meet?" Like I didn't even understand all of it. And here we are, almost 4 years or 3 years later. You know, it's that crazy.
Do you think so? Do you think, in terms of all this, in terms of, do you think the women are less likely to engage in that kind of trash talk or take it more?
Yes,
Yeah.
100%, almost 100%. Just, we just we overthink stuff. I even do it, but I just think I don't know. Sometimes you need, yeah, you just you need that kind of trash talk, and it's good for the sport, as you said with the 59s, So I don't know. I think we're just all scared to do it to hurt each other's feelings, but at the end of the day, it's not really about that.
I mean, when
It's
you
not
look at
personal.
what, no, I mean, especially if it
Yeah.
stays sports, like if you look at, for instance, in the 59s, in a strength sport, it's very difficult when a man is 130 pounds. And when there's not a lot of men walking around 130 pounds. So they're outliers for the opposite you would think for strength sports, for being small. That's not what you think
Mhm.
about when you think about strength sports. You think like strongman or like large human shifting large weight. That's, wow, that's strength. So when you show up to watch a strength sport, it's not what you're intending to see for the general public. So the buy-in for the 59 is very difficult based off of that.
Mhm.
And then so they have to have a couple things going. A, despite being small, they need to be ridiculously strong, stronger than probably average gym bros who are twice their size. Otherwise, they won't respect it. That's tough. You got to be like
That is
an
tough.
insane athlete. And then
Yeah.
on top of that, you need to bring some other intrigue. And for the longest time, it was like Bonica in the 84 pluses. It was just Fedoshenko so far ahead. Like, you don't even want to finish the movie. I know who's going to win.
Yeah.
Like, well, why, what am I doing here? It's people who are like, look at, we're 50 points up. It's the fourth quarter. You just want to beat traffic and get the fuck out of here and get home. Like, we already know who's going to win. In a sport, you could see in the stands when there's a massive spread and everyone knows who's going to win by the fourth quarter and it's boring. The people are
Mhm.
winning, 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 and then they won. People like, you just want to beat traffic, get the hell out of here. What's going on here? Like, who cares? You couldn't give away tickets when it's one sided. If the tickets go for twice as much if it's a great matchup in any sport. So forever,
Yeah.
Fedoshenko, Bonica, just running through people. And when you're doing that, you don't think you want competition sometimes, or you might not be as familiar with it. It makes you feel weird when it comes. But now we're seeing the 59s. Wasker has arrived, and it's like, shit. People like,
Hmm.
I put up a poll and it's 50-50. I don't know who's going to win. They're like, I don't know who's going to win. And now I couldn't believe Fedor clapped back from somebody translated the King of List podcast into Russian for him, told him what Wasker was saying, and said, "What do you think?" And Wasker clap and Fedor clap back at Wasker. It's like, say this.
I don't know if we should mess with the Russians.
I mean, look at here's the thing. I don't know. I don't think they'll be back in time for this Worlds. I don't know how they're going to end up clashing. If it's going to be 2024, I don't
Mhm.
know if they're going to end up clashing at some competition that's not world level, or we got to wait till 2025. I'm not sure how it's going to work out. But these two,
Yeah.
they
It
got to settle it.
it makes for great entertainment and a good storyline, and it's just yeah, I like what they're doing.
What happened with you? Like, if you don't mind saying, you don't have to get into straight details if you don't want to.
It was I DM'd Natalie. How do you pronounce her last name? She
Is it?
deadlifted 600.
Yeah. Natalie Frick Lalai, or I believe
Lalai.
from
If
Australia.
Yeah, she deadlifted 600, and I kind of I never said congratulations, which I should have done, but I was like, race to see who does it on the world stage. Because no one in our weight class has done that on a world stage. I think the record is like, I just know it's below 600. Um, and then it just got back to me that she just didn't like that comment. But it was just like, I don't know.
That's
I
not
feel
even
like,
offensive. That's not offensive at all.
to, yeah. But I mean, you have to,
That's competitive.
yeah. So, yeah, no hard feelings. I didn't mean it that way, but I'm just really excited to like finally have some competition. I've never last time I had competition that like gave me anxiety about like not winning was my sophomore year of high school. So I just, you know, and maybe this
Yeah.
past meet a little bit. So
Let's talk about, like, well, first off, to put a pin in the deadlift race, that's
mhm.
not that was as is nothing to be like, let's see who does it at Worlds. Let's have some whatever. If anything, you guys could have been like, okay, let's do a storyline. Let's see who could out deadlift each
Mhm.
other at Worlds. Whatever. We got something to talk about. This is good. The worst thing you can do in a sport is be irrelevant. Be be in a class where nobody gives a shit what you're doing. Be
Mhm.
one of those weight classes where it's like, who cares? I could miss that one. Oh, but I can't miss the 69s or 76s or whatever. No, you want to
Mhm.
be the weight class. Now 84 plus is the weight class. Everyone's like, I'm not missing it. But that for years it wasn't. For years you could like
Yeah.
totally miss it. You already know what's going to happen. Let me guess what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Bonika's going to
No.
hit some records.
No, it's amazing. Yeah, we're getting I think it's getting broadcasted on Eurosport again, our session. So that'll be really
Probably
exciting.
CBS too. I think CBS is rolling with the
I
three lift.
I hope so because that's in the US, so it's good.
It's millions and millions and millions of
Yep.
people all over the world now are going to see it. And I remember um, the Worlds in Malta, and the Eurosport TV producers were there, and they had chose 84 plus. And we knew it was going to be tight because we couldn't really tell who was going to win. So like, you probably chose good class. Let's see what happens though. You don't know until it goes down.
Hmm.
Sometimes it ends up being a dud, and you're like, oh damn, I thought that was going to be better than it was. And my God, did those ladies put on a show? Even the controversy of Bonica bombing gave it like you had it all. You had swaying of momentum of who was winning. You had controversial calls. So there's going to be
Hmm.
debates later. And then you like all of it. And then right down to the last deadlifts, last pulls. It was perfect. And I remember the TV producers from Eurosport kept looking back at me and were like, holy shit. And I was like, well, I remember afterwards, everyone on the media team were like fist bumping, like, we fucking gotta win. That was a W. We all went out for dinner and drinks, like we ended on a high.
No, it was insane because I didn't even have like Brittany winning it. Like I thought Sonia was gonna win it by like just how her numbers were panning out in training, you know. But that also goes to show just how much you show during training um can really influence like people's, opinion on who's gonna win. So
Well, Brittany also trains very submax. Like she does
I
not.
I wouldn't.
It's weird.
She's more than me. She she lifts more than me in prep. So
Really? So are you very submax as well?
very submaximal. My heaviest, okay, so deadlifted 600 at this last meet at nationals. My heaviest deadlift was 515.
515, 1.5?
Yes.
So in a case like that, though, how do you know where you're going to end up? That's a
we
bit of a
just
crapshoot.
well, we knew, and it wasn't there. Like that was a grinder. It moved worse than my previous meet, you know. Um, but even then, I deadlifted. I think I failed 575 in training, and then deadlifted 600 at like RPE 8 on meet day. So I taper pretty well.
I would say the taper gods favor you.
Favor, yeah. In taper, we
But
trust.
in taper, we trust. The thing is, it really would be like, I don't know, like, at
Yeah.
least initially. Obviously, you get data points as you go, but wouldn't that be nerve wracking when people, like, thing with Brit, although you sound even more like a submax in
Mhm.
terms of prep, but like, she's like, I just trust that it's there. It's like, my God, that's got to be nerve wracking as shit when you show up when someone's like, what's your top end? And you got to show Matt Gary 515 or
Yeah.
575 fail, and then tell Matt Gary, trust me, 600 plus. And he'll be like, he'll be like,
I would just show him my athlete profile on open powerlifting. Be like, I have a 95% success rate on attempts. I'm pretty sure it's like 93, 95.
that's right. That's right. That'll help. You know, he
So
loves it
that'll
when people get attempts.
so yeah. No, I mean it is very nerve-wracking, but I think it also adds to I just think if you can handle a lot of stress, it just helps in the long run.
Probably doesn't beat up your body as much either.
Um, Depends. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to think, but it helps with the adrenaline.
Oh, I bet. Like, this is what I'm thinking. If all year round you're doing top end squats, top end deadlifts,
Yeah.
like 600 stuff, your lower back, like what the whole your frame is like, my God, we're working with crazy weights all year round. On the flip side, if you're just hitting that crazy lifts 3 days a year, it's
Mhm.
probably a lot kinder. And also, yeah, I bet you adrenaline when you haven't hit this since like 5 months ago or whatever will be that kind of turnaround this time. But yeah, it's
Mhm.
going to be a whole nother ball game.
Yeah. No, it's totally different. And you got outside stress factors. Like I don't know. I average like 20K steps a week, like daily. So it's just
20,000?
yeah.
What do you do?
I'm on my
How?
feet all I'm on my feet all day when I go to work. So
Damn. I mean, that's a freaking lot.
yeah. So yeah. So and then we just you could load up volume. Um, like I remember at one point I was squatting like 3 days a week, and it was like going well, but then like some injuries, and then you pull back. But no, if you just keep building, building, and building, I just don't see where you could go anymore. So
You'll cap
find
out.
other ways to get that stimulus in.
What did PA Nats in your clash with Bonica, was that the way you wanted? Did it satiate that appetite? Were you hoping for a mega clash with Bonica, or what were you expecting from that?
Um, how she made it sound, I was thinking more of a blowout because it was kind of a blowout, but I was nowhere where I wanted to be, you know? Like 600 deadlifts shouldn't have moved that way, especially from my last meet, which was in September. Um, you know, Squat felt like more maximal than it needed to be. Even I make weights look easy.
I was okay. So I was going to say in the interview afterwards, it to me in commentary and afterwards, I said it looked like you're in cruise control for squats and bench because it looked so easy. Like the numbers were less than when you could do, and it looked easy. So I thought she's cruising, doesn't want to rough her body up and put the foot on the gas for World's Prep. It looked like that. But so you're
Mhm.
saying it actually wasn't.
No, no. Like I think if you put 600 on the bar or even 610, like my best, it would have. I don't think I would have gotten it. It would have been like a grind.
Oh,
It would have been like,
that's
yeah,
crazy. Okay, so first off, for the rest of the world, the 84 pluses, if they hear this, because
they
Brit
can hear
now is in the 700s, they're gonna think, oh
they can
shit, you
hear
come
it
like that to
because
Worlds.
I just make things happen. Like, you know, I just execute. So
On the day you were vulnerable, Bonica should have put her foot on the gas then. Maybe she
I
didn't realize.
it it was yeah. I think it was her mistake because I think if she had, I don't know how hard she worked, but she said she was sick a lot and all this and that. But if she went 100% during prep, 100% at the meet, I think it would have been a lot closer than people would have
Damn.
expected. Like I honestly think she had a chance.
And this
So
is why you always show up and give 100% and don't take your foot off the gas and tell yourself,
yeah.
whatever, you got it. You don't know. Maybe she couldn't, maybe whatever she was dealing with stopped her
Mhm.
from it. But it also, looking at your 721, you would think you got a sizable lead, but it does remind everybody this is a battle at Worlds. Or do you think it's about like what do you think? You saw Sheffield, you saw what those ladies did. Sonita squatting 300 kilos is freaking ridiculous. Britt doing 710. She's off in the 700s, conceivably going to be even deeper by Worlds. So you cannot have an off day to win, or do you think what are you thinking?
It's gonna be a battle. Like it's gonna be like I think it's gonna come down to chips, if I'm being honest. You know, um, because if they both have really good preps and I have mediocre preps, like we're gonna be closer than than I want. Everyone wants a close battle, but um, no, I'm definitely coming in nervous. It's my first international meet. I've never been outside the United States, so
Oh,
not even to Mexico or Canada. Like I don't have family that has been outside, like close family. Um, so just very nervous, but I'm getting there early. So
that's good. That's
um,
it.
yeah. So I'm just sticking with my plan of like I always execute. Like it's gonna be same old thing. We're just in a different venue. So,
You can turn the blinders on as well because you got someone like Matt Gary who's doing your temp selection.
mhm.
You don't have to be super involved at like giving feedback, sure, but you don't have to worry about what everyone else is doing because he will. And
Yeah,
he's tough to catch sleeping,
yeah. So
which is a massive bonus not every country has.
yeah.
But this is a what were your thoughts when you watched that Worlds 2023?
Um, I was waiting for, you know, I was waiting for Sunita to total 700. So then it panned out, and then we get to deadlifts, and Bonica misses her first deadlift. You know, so it was really more like scouting. I can't tell you if I even remember watching it now. I know where I'm at and like watching the TV, but I'm just sitting there like hoping. I'm like, okay, what what are they doing? You know? And then like Sonita was dealing with a calf injury, so we didn't know how she was going to perform. Um, Brittany always shows up more than I expect, which I hate to say that, but it's from her training. So yeah, and lack of
Her
posting and all
her I think it's a fair assessment because she'll, if you look at her open powerlifting, the kilos she put on in her total has been
that.
crazy,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
massive jumps. And then if you look at her previous totals leading up to Worlds, and then you look at her training leading up to Worlds, because she lifts sub maximally in terms of
Hmm.
top end, how were you supposed to have gathered she would be that deep into it? You know, it was
Yeah. Plus, she's like fairly new to the sport, isn't she? Like, it's like 5 years or something.
um I could pull it up. I can pull it. I think she's it's been a hot minute, but let me see here.
Like,
And how much of a motivation was it after you saw those ladies and you were still left to go at USAPL though?
oh, even more. Like
Her first was 2016, by the way. Just so people don't jump in my DMs with the friggin' correction. But yeah, after you,
international meet or
international, okay, we're gonna tighten up on this. Hold on a
okay.
sec.
I'm just saying
Um let's see, the first international 2019. You're right. Okay, you got it. You got it.
because if
But
you think if I wasn't in USAPL, like I would have been at my first international meet in 2021. So that puts things into perspective.
right.
And that was going to be like a junior worlds, and I probably would have won that meet. I think I should have won the last two worlds, if I'm being honest. Like sometimes sometimes I have like a little bit of regret here and there, staying at Midland University, but it is what it is. Decisions were made. So,
What went into those decisions? Is it just because you're on a university team and
um, I think it's like about like what do you think makes yourself valuable, as a person? And so I thought that was only, powerlifting. So now I'm having to separate my own self-worth from powerlifting. So like if powerlifting goes away, like who am I? But in that time, that's all I thought. And then, you had school tied into it. I didn't have a lot of guidance, like someone to tell me, like, oh yeah, you can just go to school somewhere else and you can still focus on powerlifting. But I had that like incentive of like, okay, I belong, you know,
mm,
like being one of like the best people, one of the best female lifters in the world, and then on, one of the best collegiate teams in the world. So, but just like looking back at it now, I wish I didn't spend that money, you know. So I was just young. I didn't have guidance. So I just wish I was told more options, you know.
ex explained like if you go the IPF route, you you're
My
associated
career
with
would be 10 times better. My
yeah, I would
powerlifting career would be 10 times better, you know? Like, but you never know. Like, would I have, you know, like my coach is one of my best friends. Would I have become best friends with him? You know, it's just, it's a lot of what ifs.
you
But
change one thing, you do sorry, go ahead.
the other side of the what if is like, you know, maybe having, you know, more monetary support from powerlifting instead of being like telling people, oh yeah, I have like the unofficial world record total and bench and deadlift, but I, I, I have nothing to show, you know?
You would have definitely been collecting bags
Yeah.
if you went the other route.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's a tough one because, well, first off, Midland has a history of being like the powerlifting university. It's like a powerhouse in it. you were with you overlapped with Austin, and did you
Mhm.
overlap with Austin, Shane, like the nuts, as well as
Yeah,
Chloe and how,
their last
right?
year. Yeah.
Okay.
They all graduated in 3 years. So I should have had 2 years with them, but so I only got 1 year with them. But yeah, that's even just the raw people. Like there's a whole equipped scene out here. Like most of the lifters come from Texas and they're all equipped. Like they do not know. So we have a banner walking into the facility and it has Chloe front and center. Then it has Shane and Austin next to her. And then Joe Pena, who squatted like 1,000 pounds in high school
I
and
remember him.
equipment. You know
I
Joe
remember
Pena.
him.
And then Jodelle, I'm blanking on her last name, but she was also a very um, highly decorated equipped lifter from Texas and in college. And they don't know who Chloe, Shane, and Austin are because they're equipped lifters. Yeah, and they're from Texas. I'm telling you, it's just so it's different. Okay, but then I don't. I gotta stop myself because I did one equip meet and I got injured, and so I'll never do it again. I'm sorry.
Well, okay. So it's fascinating because someone's trying to tell me about that. How the university collegiate scene, they're some people
Mhm.
go into powerlifting, enter into a power, like go into college, university, enter a powerlifting team, don't necessarily look beyond that.
Yeah,
And don't even, and then will be gone from powerlifting when they leave the school and kind of carry on in life with whatever jobs they're going to school for. And they're almost in their own bubble.
yeah,
And for them to be on Midland is everything. And
yeah.
to be the championships and whatever is everything. And they don't even necessarily pay attention to powerlifting as a whole.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's kind of the mindset I was in. I only looked 4 years ahead, from high school and like all this like glory. But like, now I'm leaving it, I'm graduating, but I just didn't know there were other options out there. So, because I went from living in Florida to living in Nebraska, and I can tell you it's so depressing. It's so, I've
Yeah.
never been so pale in my life. like, like getting the photos back from nationals in Reno kind of hurt.
Like, was I sick? Why am I so
Yeah,
pale?
yeah, yeah. So I just, whew,
Was
yeah,
it, what was it like going to university in a place like Midland when you have people like Chloe, Perk? Like, do other people on campus not in powerlifting know who they are and they're like name people?
yeah, yeah. Like definitely, that even happens with me. Like the whole football team is like was kind of like scared of me because I
Oh
lifted.
shit.
There was only one guy on our football team that could um out bench me. One guy.
And these are monster football players in college.
Yeah, I mean they're not monstrous because we're not even NCAA. We're NAIA. Um, but yeah, he could bench like 400 pounds. That's only 20 pounds off my best. So he could barely squat like 4 plates. So, um, no, yeah, people know who we are on campus. So,
And I could see where it'd be like for a kid out of high school, I could see where that'd be tempting. Where
mhm,
you could be like, oh my God, I am the cool kid on campus. Literally.
yeah, definitely.
Everybody knows who I am, and you have an identity wrapped up in it. And I could see where you might be like, you're young, impressionable, and now you're the one of the coolest people. Everybody knows who you are. You're like a living legend as you walk around, and then you're like,
Mhm.
I'm gonna cut this early. I don't think I want to cut this early. I kind of like how this feels. And I can see where the identity might be. And were you friends with Chloe and Perk and all them as they were
Yeah,
exiting?
yeah. So what happened is, I stayed. So I didn't go home after my freshman year. I stayed on campus. I worked on campus, and they all also stayed in their like off-campus apartment. And so we were all just like training. There's only like maybe 15 of us who stayed in Nebraska. So we're just all training at the facility. And so we would just hang out. Um, like Chloe and I got really close and they all live together. I feel like they did a podcast on this. So Chloe Shane, Rob Sines, and Austin Perkins, they all live together. So it was like,
That's wild. Like
yeah,
Shane, for anyone listening, like Chloe, been to worlds, junior worlds, open worlds, and was at this PA. Shane also been to junior worlds, been to PA Nats. Austin, if you listen to the podcast, I don't think I got to tell you about him. And then there's obviously like, where
Rob,
have you been? But
yeah,
you know, it's wild that these people all were. This is like the freaking Beatles meeting each other. It's wild that
yeah,
they all were at the same school, yourself included.
yeah. Rob
In
Steins is an equipped national or world champion too. So
oh
they
wow,
were
okay,
all,
thank you.
yeah, they have all been to like almost international meets before me. Like I was a nobody when I met them. So
And what was it like when you met them and you knew who they were?
it's you try not to freak out because Chloe was also our captain at the time. So it's like, I'm like scouting the school and they make posts about her on Instagram, like, and she's the captain. So, and then she's like talking to you like she's the captain. And then also, Chloe Dublin, it's just like, she just holds herself very well and carries herself very well. Like, yeah, it's amazing. Like people from my class who saw her last year, um, they always ask me like, "Oh, how's Chloe doing? Like, we miss her. Like, we'll never have a better captain than her." So,
Really?
yeah, she's held in very high regard at Midland. Um, no, it's just you have to remember their people too, you know. So, they go through things. They're people, um, but they're also really good at powerlifting. I know a lot.
What about Perk? Do people freak out with what he's developed into? Like, did you see this coming? Because this is crazy. Like,
Well,
I knew
I
he's good,
mean,
but
think about it. So my he lifted at my first ever freshman meet. He was like in the second session, and at that time I really didn't like know like all the hype around it. I was like, why is one of our upperclassmen lifting at our freshman meet? And that was the meet he totaled like what 800.
oh, was it?
That was during like COVID. Like he was wearing a mask. Yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah. That was my first freshman meet, and that was his last year. So competing at Midland.
So he was already the guy because it was
Yeah,
just him and Taylor at that time.
yeah, yeah.
But even then, what he is now is insane. What
Hmm.
he's developed into. I mean, he's like for him to hit 851, the same meet you hit 721, by the way. Like you guys really you think about how you guys have developed from Midland. Like legends are being made right now.
Hmm.
Talk about a strong university graduation.
Yeah, no, it was insane. It's insane. I Yeah, it's great to look back on. So,
Do you still talk to them?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Chloe and I, we probably call each other like twice a month or something. You know,
Okay.
it used to be more than that, but like we have lives. So
Yeah. I mean, that's fair enough. It is what
yeah.
it is. So how did you find powerlifting initially to begin with?
Um. Well, my first powerlifting meet was to qualify for a scholarship at Midland. So that was in 2020. That was like a week before everything, the whole world shut down, and they almost canceled the meet. But I we had a weightlifting team in at my high school. So it's different down in Florida. Um, we would compete in bench and clean and jerk in that order. So we would only have 6 attempts.
You do bench and clean and jerk?
Yeah.
That is only in Florida.
Yeah.
God damn
And
it,
I was
Florida's got to be different, eh? What are you guys doing? Why bench? Why not squat and clean and jerk? That is so different.
well, okay, I think the the thought process was okay, you have two strength sports. You have, um, Olympic weightlifting and then you have powerlifting, and they wanted like a little bit of each. So I think now they compete in bench, clean and jerk, and then if you want to, snatch. I'm pretty sure that's what my high school told me last time I was there. But yeah, it's weird. I was definitely benching more than I was clean and jerking.
Really?
I've been, I think my senior year, I benched 320. Um, and I think that was a state record. And then I clean and jerked like 245, maybe 235.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a huge like what was it like for you in high school? So you were always strong then. You were already
Mhm.
weightlifting and
Yeah. Yeah. So my freshman year, I competed in basketball. I was on, I would play up on varsity a little bit, but I was on the JV team. I kind of got like scouted out of middle school. Like the high school coaches would come, and then because we had two high schools in my district. And so I had both of the coaches come and they're like, we want you to go to our school. I'm like, I live 5 minutes down the road from this one high school. I'm going to that high school. I don't know what you are talking about. But no, I was in class and they were doing like morning announcements and they were announcing that they were doing tryouts for the weightlifting team. And I was like, I need to do that. So I finished out my first year of basketball and then I switched over my sophomore year. So,
this was the bench press and clean and jerk.
mhm.
And were you weightlifting before that?
No, no, never. I don't think I ever went to a gym. Maybe like randomly, like a Planet Fitness. But I was always strong. Like people always told me I was too strong. My mom, I grew up in a house with a lot of people, a lot of kids, and they could beat up on me, but I couldn't beat up on them because I was too strong. As words from my mom.
Like these are siblings?
Yeah, yeah, they were my cousins. Yeah,
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Do you have siblings?
I have a sister. Yeah,
Is
she's
she at
like
all?
she lifts. Yep.
Oh, no kidding. Does she
Hmm.
compete?
Yep. She's done two meets. Her first meet was last May, and then she had one in Miami in December.
Is
So
she a younger sister?
yeah, yeah. She's 21, so she's 2 years younger than me. Almost 3 years.
I mean, no pressure, huh?
No
That's got to
pressure.
be.
She's well. It's hilarious because she's a 60. She'll be a 63.
Oh,
So
frig. Yeah, well, I
she's
mean,
tiny.
yeah, that's a whole nother situation then. It's not
She's
like
tiny.
Jesus and Pablo who are like
Mm-mm.
smashing weights and whatever.
No, no, yeah. Yeah, when we work, and she's like 5'4". She's like 5 inches, 4 inches shorter than me.
Oh my
So
gosh. That's a
yeah, I don't
huge,
know.
yeah, well, don't say it. Don't say it. I know
What do
what
you
you're
mean?
gonna say. Hold,
What
bite
was
your
I
tongue.
gonna
This is a podcast. Your mom's gonna listen to this. She, what the fuck did you say? Can you let us? We'll leave,
uh,
we'll leave it there. But but
no.
this is like that's like that movie Twins or whatever with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito, where they're the one brother's like, how the hell did this happen? But
Yeah.
freaking is it like did she get into powerlifting because of you?
I mean, yeah, so I'm trying to remember. I think she's 1 year behind me in like in terms of like classes. So I think when I was a sophomore, she was a freshman. So she's like,
Mm.
okay, yeah, she's artsy. She's not really like that athletic. And she's like, I'm gonna join the weightlifting team. So she did, and she was pretty good. But then she had some like health problems and all that. Um, uh, like an autoimmune disease diagnosis that
Mm.
like set her back. And then she's back now. I program for her. I coach her. Um,
Oh wow.
yeah. She lifts at oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the name. Uh oh no. It's the gym we go to back at home, but um some big names lift there. Like John Hill lifts there. Um What's his name?
Yeah, I know John. I know a couple of the guys. I know I can picture the gym.
Bornstein, Joe Bornstein.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He lifts there. Yeah, so there's a good like powerlifting community there. Oh, the gym downtown in Orlando. That's the gym. So great gym. Um, but no, she's like, I'm gonna beat Celine one day. I was like, okay. I was like,
You're like,
she's like, Natalie
please.
Richards, I'm coming for you. I'm like, oh.
You're like, take it the fuck easy, huh? Let's get meet number 3 and your belt.
I know. Yeah. No, she's doing great. She's close to like a 300 deadlift, but she's like long. She's lanky, so her squat, you know, it just doesn't look good. And then she has really long arms for bench. But I think for her weight, she benches like 150, 160. But
Yeah, I mean, and she's 2 competitions deep. I mean,
mhm.
that's so early days. And at least she's got you programming for her. You're
Yeah.
gonna look out for her.
And she calls me probably twice a day, and it's about training. I'm like
You're
sitting,
like,
like I
you're
just
like,
worked.
you're my sister, but we gotta talk about boundaries. You're
No,
like,
literally. I'm like, I just worked 12 hours, 2 jobs, and I still have to go train. Can you shut
yeah,
up? Like,
you're like, this is a mistake. Hey, go tell mom. I don't give a shit. I'm dropping you as a client.
yeah, like, my God, you know.
Were you guys tight growing up?
No, she hated me because we always shared a room. Like we never had our own room. And and I would stay up late and she would try to go to bed early. And she'd be like, "Can you turn your phone brightness down?" And
The way you just said it with your head, your facial expression, this is
like
so big.
she would like
Sister
throw
strap.
stuff at me. Yeah, she was like, not anything like
So,
crazy, but like a pillow. She'd be like,
yeah, but you were the big sister. But the thing is, you couldn't rough her up because you're like
no, 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 she's
you,
tiny,
you just had
scrawny.
to show you just had to show restraint. And be like, God damn it, one day I'm gonna
She
show
would
you.
she would beat me up. She would so if we got into a fight, I don't know if you know this, but like if you get the sibling on their back and then they just start kicking their feet, like the bicycle thing, oh, I'm done for. Like that was her defense. Like,
To go on her back and kick with her feet.
yes.
And you were like, I don't have a move against this. This is
Yeah.
I don't have to penetrate this
No,
defense.
no, she has like really strong legs. I just don't. Like I got the upper body strength, she got the lower body
She could pivot on her back and always be facing you. You couldn't get around those legs.
strength.
I gotta hook you
Yeah.
up. It's too late now. You're not gonna fight her now. You could have used some jujitsu for some guard pass and get around those legs. It would have been game
I,
over for her, but it is what it is. She's lucky. She's lucky.
she's lucky. She's lucky. She is. She's actually gonna probably freak out that we're talking about her. Like I
She'll
think
feel
well, no, like excited. She's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you talked about me on King of the
what's her
Lift."
first name?
Emily.
Emily.
Yeah.
Okay.
She has
Emily
her
Jones.
own lifting page. So
Or she does. Or she does. She's gonna be in the DMs like, when are you gonna repost me? What's up? You
no,
well, because I'm ready to call out Natalie Richards. I'm ready to call out Celine the Machine. Those girls been
that's what her
sleeping
phone
on
calls
me.
are about. She's like, "Are you gonna repost what I posted? You're my coach." I'm like,
What?
I'm like, I'm at work. Like, I don't know what you want me to
Are you gonna repost? Are you seeing what the fuck's going on right now? I'm blowing it up and I'm getting no
do.
love from you. You're like,
Yeah, yeah.
wait
That's
until
really
wait until so when you're watching Worlds and you see like CBS assigned Eurosport, you see the road to Sheffield's that they have where
yeah,
people tell their story and whatnot. Like for sure, you're a coach. This is going to blow all of that up. For
yeah.
sure, the reach, like the Worlds, is 4 or 5
Mhm.
times more viewership. Sheffield, don't even got to tell you about it. And you've seen they showed the amount of increase for all their social media platforms for all the lifters involved. at Sheffield. It was ridiculous. Jonathan Keiko now, after two
Mhm.
Sheffields, can post that he's out for dinner and get 5,000 likes. And people are
Yeah.
like, I just love seeing him enjoying his life. It's like, what? Are we?
People love, they want you to be like personal with it. And I'm a little nervous, you know,
Hmm.
just because I don't know. I think a lot of it can get to you. Well, what kills me is like I work a retail job right now, you know, because we're just going through life trying to build it up.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like I'm at work and I'm like, you don't know, I'm one of the strongest females in the world. Like it's that type of thing where you know that meme, you
Yeah.
know, where
These
you're
people
standing in
don't
the corner, like they don't know I can squat 600 pounds. It,
some some ladies like, can you tell me where I can get the gentleman's small shirts and what rack aisle? And you're like, lady, do you know who the fuck I am?
no,
You're like,
literally, they'll be like, "What's the price of this?" And the price is right there. I literally go like this. I point. I'm like, like we're standing right there.
you're
I
like,
tell you, I don't have faith in humanity. You know, like it go like it just it dwindles
and
every day.
she's like, that lady's like, read it to me. I don't want to read it. Tell me what it is. And you're like, shit,
Yeah,
I'm wasting my
yeah,
talents here.
yeah. So no, I don't know. But I have like I have an internship at a high school around here. Um, and they think like I'm God or something. So
I freaking bet. This is the beginning though.
yeah.
So I had Rondell on, and he was at USAPL Nats as a guest lifter, and
Mm-mm.
he didn't get nearly the hype he should have for his performance.
Mm-mm.
In your 721, I mean, it's still got like Rondell still got love. You still got love, but imagine you did
Yeah.
that at the world stage. Like those ladies got crazy love for what they did at Malta. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone couldn't stop talking about it for good reason, but they couldn't stop talking about the love they got. And then
Yeah.
Sheffield is Sheffield. People can't stop talking. Like Sunita squatting
Mm.
300K. Crazy. You got love, but not like, I know what you mean, where you're watching like, damn, I
Mm-hmm.
I probably, and you go to your day job. I don't know if you'll be quitting your day job when you're into powerlifting, but
Yeah.
so if you capitalize on it, not just the bags you collect from competitions, but coaching, the
Mm.
coaching services, in person, online, the whole everything can blow up if you really start. The big thing is you kind of sort of got to start leaning into social media because it's marketing.
I know. And I've thought about just like not promoting it, just being like, okay, if you ask me, like, yes, I'll do that. But I'm thinking just doing it more like in-person stuff. Because I think when you get like too online, you know, like you just go a little crazy up here. But like just let's say like Instagram, you know, wasn't a thing, wasn't a platform for powerlifting, you know, or like we just didn't have the internet. Like let's say this happened 20 years ago, you know. I just I'd like to focus like where I'm at right now, like reality of the situation, you know. So
You could hire someone if the income was coming in proper to cut
mhm.
up reels and stuff like that and just make stuff for you.
I wish I actually tried to get Emily to do that, like,
Emily, who?
and my sister.
Oh wow, really? Well, hey,
Yes,
what did she say?
she said yes, but like she's not a like she doesn't make videos. Like she doesn't really do that. So it's just like, you know, it was more of I don't really care what you make. Just try to make it, you know, as authentic as you can be, like because you know me, like you're my sister. Um, but even then, like you just have to have that creative ability to do all that, you know. She's good at drawing, but not splicing up videos.
A lot of it is you see trends with it. So sometimes
Mm-hmm.
lately, here's some trends I'm seeing. People finish the video with the end of the lift, them celebrating, and saying what it was, and then they get into the lift. That's the latest that I've noticed is trending everyone's doing. Also, another one that a lot of people are doing, some guys in the UK are doing this a lot. Um, you have you show yourself and someone else kind of posing whatever, say the two
Hmm.
names, weight classes, and then you both go toe to toe. And one person's trying to well, they'll be trying to keep up with you. But
Yeah.
for yourself, what you can really lean into is being the strongest woman in the world. If you
Mm.
start leaning into that, like recognize you are the apex predator at the top of the food chain, you win the worlds. That is going to be huge for you to be able, like it's a massive caveat to have on your
Yeah.
on your name to be able to say that. So if you were to get somebody and reels, people cutting up reels doesn't cost too much.
Mm.
Um, it just depends. But if you can get your business to start moving, takes
Mm.
money to make money, and it might be worth your while. I know what you mean. You don't want to lose yourself in it. But
Yeah.
if you look at it like this is marketing, this is not me trying to be get attention or whatever. It just stick to lifts and use it as
Yeah.
marketing. You got personality. You are easy to talk to, easy to joke around with, and you're phenomenally talented, obviously. This won't be that as hard as you might think. Keep doing
Mm.
podcasts. You do well. You're easy to talk to, so that's
Yeah.
good. But you
That's
will
good.
need some. Yeah. I mean, that's a big one. But you will
Yeah.
want some clips, and you're young. You got like who knows what the future is going to be for you. A lot of it will
Yeah.
start to unravel naturally with you if you win worlds, go to Sheffield. To be honest with you, the way the 84 pluses are looking,
Mm.
I think the podium might be sent. I mean, I don't even know if people got to win to go necessarily the way it's looking. But, anyways, you do your damn thing
Uh,
at Worlds. If that's an avenue, there's going to be a lot of collaborations between platforms to blow up your platform. I loved when you posted, I reposted, you said, it takes two to tango. So let us dance.
yeah.
I was like, oh, shit.
So
That
that
was
was,
fire.
yeah. So that was like a play on, you have the duo, you have me and Shane. That's the first meet Shane's ever like handled me at. And then just another saying like, here, we got another person in the mix for Worlds. Like it's gonna be back and forth, you know? Like you gotta give a little to make the play happen.
Right.
So, you know,
Yeah, you need a dance partner for all of this. You need a dance partner
yeah.
for the competition to be riveting back and forth like during, and you kind of sort of need a dance partner leading up to. So
Mhm.
Nita and Britt aren't really talkers so leading up to like that.
They're like best friends. They're in each other's comments, you know? So
It-
I
maybe you
just
just gotta it could be just a beating of the chest on your own without trying to engage, but just
yeah.
like you had said when you're on Future Powerlifting podcast and you're like, I was telling people when I switch over, you're gonna rue the day.
I never told them that. I was telling like people in my life that. I was like, they're all gonna rue the day. Um, yeah, that was a good line. The students at my internship tell me that sometimes. They're like,
It
rue the
was
day. I,
it It's fire. But this is what you need. This is,
yeah,
you don't even need to go at nobody in particular. Just be like,
right.
just be proud of yourself and confident in yourself. Even if you're telling yourself, I don't know about engaging other people. I don't know how it's going to come off. And if they know what I'm trying to get cooking. And so it might be taken wrong, but you could just be like, look it, I'm going to talk confidently about myself and say, this is what I'm planning on doing. Step aside, get shoved aside. I'm coming in. I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. People will take those sound bites and start running with it. And for a lot of people, it's not even about the other person or other people in your weight class. It's all about you and like, I want to be like Alexis
Mhm.
Jones, who is confident and walking in there fearless. And when they see you, they're like, oh, hell yeah. And it gives them that inspiration too. And you're
Mhm.
just, it's like a real life superhero when you come around. If
Yeah.
you start talking like that, and you don't even necessarily, it doesn't even got to be about somebody else. Inevitably,
Right.
somebody else is going to take offense because, guess what? I'm coming for the same, I got the same goals as you. So who knows what happens and transpires after that? But there's nothing more intriguing than when you have a super ultra competitive, confident person whom you have the world of confidence in going for a goal. And on the other side, going for the exact same prize is a super confident, ultra talented going for the same. And you're like, holy shit. And they're both saying, I want it. It's my dream. You're not going to take it from me. I'm the best. And the other person's saying the exact same thing. And that's when people are like, I believe in both. Neither one of them are fronting on any given day. Any one of them could win. That's the juicy, holy shit, here we go. But when people are quiet and modest, just saying your goal out loud is enough.
Right.
You don't even got to go at someone else and be like, you suck. I'm going to destroy you. You don't even got to talk about them at all. All you got to be is like confident and voice it. When they both do that, it's like, oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're going to clash and they're both, I don't know who's. But when nobody says nothing, it becomes like, yeah, all right. Well,
It fizzles out. Yeah.
this is
No,
a,
I get what you're getting at. I think one of my problems is that I like train alone. And I'm
mm,
telling you, alone. Like it's a private gym. And I'm there alone at 11 p.m. almost every day. Like, so I think it's a little tough to, I don't know.
like,
It's
is it,
tough to train alone. Like I literally, I'm going for
is it,
a 565 squat with no spotters.
it's
I,
crazy. Like, how
yeah,
do you keep that? How do you, when I train alone, all right, I could get job done, but there's nothing like having people rally around you
yeah,
and your team's there where you're like, I'm gonna smash some weights today.
yeah. And it's even worse because I went from having, 30 to 40 people with me who we're all going towards the same goal and we all know why we're there, at Midland, to like literally being isolated and training by myself and like losing like the why. Why are we doing this? What's the goal here? But it's very hard. It's like it really teaches you like, okay, you have to get into this mindset. Like it literally has to switch. You have to switch into a different gear. You can't just be cruising along. So
It's easy
it's
to
tough.
cruise along when you're by yourself, though.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like I'll go into sessions. I'm like, la da da da. Like,
And you're like, how the fudge did I end up struggling with 700? I'm a 721.
yeah, yeah, that's what happens. You're like 405 is moving hard today, but you don't have any of that stimulus in you. You know, so I don't have other people. You don't have that other energy. I think a lot of people take for granted that even just being in a gym setting, like you're gonna push yourself even harder because like you're like, okay, there's people around me, there's people watching me, you know. Because I do go to another gym to do accessories, and they all stare at me, like because believe it. So there's a heavy like Hispanic population around here, so they're all 5'5" Hispanic men, and I'm 5'8". And so they're like, what the hell? And then they don't even know if I'm a woman or a man. Like they don't know me. So
You're going there for accessories. It's like,
yeah.
look at, and you got the crowd. It's like, you should see my fucking delts and triceps right now, though. I
I wonder if they think I'm insane because I'll do my main sets like one day I just have I have bench and then or I have like squat and bench or something. And then I have one I have hamstring curls and that's my only accessory, but I don't have the machine at the other gym where the combo rack is. So I literally walk in, do 3 sets of hamstring curls and walk out. Like they probably think I'm insane.
like all about those hamstrings. They
Yeah.
think that's all you do.
Like loading up 150 pounds for the hamstring curl. They're like, what?
They put their finger on it. They're like, wow, I'm intrigued. I got so many questions if I had the balls to ask her.
Oh,
What is
but
going on here?
go back to the original point. But even just having those people in the gym, like it'll push me to do those accessories even more. Or if I do perhaps want to do, like a 2x8 on bench, like on my lighter days. I'll just go there and do it. But I even push myself harder on those days than I do my main days because there's people. So
You're 100% right. For like,
Yeah.
people don't got to say nothing to you. They don't got to
Hmm.
pump you up. Just start squatting with eyeballs on you, or have somebody. Here is what everybody who's a power lifter ever in a general gym has felt. Have somebody stop and kind of
Yeah.
like they want to see, like, holy shit, are you going to do this? And when you see someone stop in their tracks, like, I got to see this.
Hmm.
Your adrenaline starts going up. You like that, Playboy? Wait till you
Hmm.
see this, and you throw some more weights after that set, and they're like, "Damn, I gotta double back and see." And you will get a little more pumped up.
Yeah. No, well, it happens like the gym I go to is in a mall and they don't open, they have the gate thing down, so it looks like I'm in jail or something. But
Oh my
there'll be
god!
there'll be
Like a
old
caged animal in there.
if I go during the day, like there'll be old people walking and they'll, walk by and they'll be like they'll be, like double taken or just like staring at you as you walk by.
You're all, in between sets. You're on the cage, like
Yes.
they're like, "What the frig
And
is going on?"
I think it's worse because I can't even, there's probably only like 20 to 25 feet from like that entrance where the thing's down and then the combo rack. And the combo rack is looking out into the gym. So it's like you're literally just like, I
Putting
don't,
on a show.
yeah, putting on a show. Yeah,
Do they have not enough weight there for you to squat and do your thing over there?
they do. Yeah, he has, I'm trying to think. I think you could load up the whole bar with 45s. I have enough.
Alexis, listen to me.
What?
I'm telling you, like Russell or he did this. He showed when he's lifting on kilo plates and the whole nine,
Hmm.
the views he gets on Instagram. Then he showed when he's using pound plates loaded up and it's
Yeah.
everything's loaded up and it's crazy amount of views. Now, if you went in there with someone filming you and you
Mhm.
got old people's reaction where they stop and look, and you got all that kind of stuff, people's reactions, loading a plate, people stopping, like, what the fuck? And all of those reactions, and then the absurdity of all these plates, massive plates loaded up, and you start smashing.
Mhm.
Guarantee you, the video itself on social media will go, you have to edit it up a little bit. It can't just be free. You have to like edit in the people
Yeah.
stop look. It's like 2 seconds. The people stop look 2 seconds, and the reactions, all that. It takes a bit of editing, right? But you get the right person.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. But the first off, your lifts with people watching like that are going to go through the roof, and you
Yeah.
will be 750, let alone 721. You're going to be taking that football right into the end zone, and you're going to end up like a freaking living legend in that mall. You're going to get a mall discount. That's what's going to happen. People will be like, "You're going to go to a restaurant in the mall." Like, with all due respect, this one's on the house. You eat here for free whenever you want. I seen you training earlier. Who the fuck are you, by the way? What is going
Yeah.
on? What are you like? I'm the strongest woman in the world. Thank you.
Thank
Hey,
you.
let me ask you this because I
Yeah.
want to ask you.
Hmm.
Can you be you hit 721? The
Hmm.
untested is 735. That's the biggest untested, let alone you obviously have the biggest tested total we've ever seen. But the
Right.
biggest untested is 735. Jesus Oliveras became the legend he is because he's number one powerlifter that ever lived, period, tested or untested. The
Hmm.
biggest total, period, is Jesus Oliveras. Is this a goal of yours? You're 23 years old, already that close. Can it happen?
Yeah, I think it'll happen. I think it'll happen sooner than people think. So,
Like, is it to be the number one in history, period? You're the strongest lady that ever lived. How crazy is that to say? Tested
it's
or
crazy.
untested?
It's crazy. Yeah.
And this is
It's almost speechless, you know? I it's hard to like, yes, I imagined this from the day I touched a barbell, in 2017, as a sophomore in high school. Like like I on Instagram, like finding out what powerlifting is and finding out who Bonica is and like IPF and worlds. Like I knew I was going to be there someday. I knew I was going to be, you know, on number one on the podium at a world championship someday. Um, and that I was going to probably be one of the best someday. It's just when it was going to happen, you know. And so that circles back to regrets because I think it could have happened uh, sooner than later. But
You always are telling us I'm gonna be the strongest woman in the world.
I wasn't telling people. I was just you follow the route. You're like, okay, there's a nationals, there's a worlds. At that point in time, there wasn't like a Sheffield. You know, there wasn't anything more than that. So, um, yeah, I don't know. I just it's never been there's never been like, oh, I'm not going to be the best. It's never been that.
See, this is where your sister fucking gets this talk about Celine the machine.
Yeah, yeah, because you know, 3 years into lifting, or I mean 3 months into lifting, like okay, I benched 155 for the first time in November. Okay. Come February, I benched 255.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. So that was our opening, our season opener in November 2017. 2018 is states in early February, and I benched. It was either 245 or 255. It was something like that. So I just seeing that progress and then looking at the numbers Renika was doing in that year, I was like, we're getting there. I don't know how, but we're getting there. And I'm going to be the best.
Did you watch like the world championships and all the rest of it? Did you follow the sport like that at the time?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
It
I think I'm trying to think. Yeah, like I watched like Russ Orhee on YouTube when he was like still living in his parents' house. And then I watched like the videos. He's like, I'm moving into my first apartment. And like he was looking at like Alpha Elite. Like I'm serious. Like when he was like writing on his whiteboard every day, like the quote of the day. Like I
it's
was
pretty
watching
cool.
all that, you know, and I was like, oh, I want to be like that one day. So and now it's kind of insane to think like I might be grouped in with those same people. Well, like I kind of am now, somewhat.
You are. It's going to get even more intense. Is what it is.
Yeah. So
When you're watching it and you're watching like were you so you obviously you're watching Bonica, but were you telling yourself at the time like Bonica wasn't getting? Did you think she got enough attention herself? The 84 pluses. Did you envision it be like it is now, which is peaked popularity for this class?
um looking back at it, no, I don't think she got enough attention as she should have. But like you said, if there's no one like challenging you, then it becomes kind of boring. Like you knew Bonica was going to win every year. I think there was one year maybe that she got, you know, tested, like contested. Um, and I remember being like, oh, maybe there'll be a new champion, you know. But like leading up into, you know, 2020 and like, you know, I'm going to college, you know, because of powerlifting. Um, I was like, oh, I want to be the first person to dethrone her. So, and then it didn't
That's
happen, which sucked.
that's exactly well. First, how much did that make you pissed off? You're like, God damn it, because you would have been the
Yeah.
goat slayer. You know,
Mhm.
everyone remembers when a dynasty comes to an end and the new dynasty starts.
Yeah. So I'm glad there's enough competition now, you know, because I definitely would watch the 75 kg class, 76s, 72s at the time, I think 2017. I would watch them more and follow them more on social media than the 84s, just because it was only Bonica. And she doesn't post that much about her training either. Like, I remember following her and then being like, okay, she's not posting what I want to see, then unfollowing her. And then I came into the scene, you know, I'm one of her competitors, and like, we don't follow each other to this day. So, you know,
Do you find that sometimes that happens. Sometimes people don't want to see what someone else is doing in the
Mhm.
class because it gets in their head or whatever. And I could sort of see that. You could follow someone and mute them. If you're like, I'm gonna follow
Yeah.
you out of respect, but I'm gonna mute you because I don't need to see all your updates when we're gonna clash. Especially
Mhm.
if you're sub max training and you're like, holy shit, you're hitting way bigger weights than I am in training. Even
Yeah.
though but that's normal. That's fine. I do way more on the platform day. It
Mhm.
still might be like I don't think I need to see that though.
I think it's a respect kind of thing. Like I follow everyone else. Like when you find out about, someone might be your competitor, like you follow them out of a respect kind of thing. And also a little to say like here, I acknowledge you, we're both good enough to go against each other. Like we're on the same level. It's an acknowledgement. So I
Yeah.
think it kind of hurt when like she just didn't acknowledge. And then like obviously we live like maybe 40 minutes away from each other. Like I don't we could have been making insane content. But no, when I
100%.
show up to her gym, or any of my friends show up to her gym, she leaves. So that's all I have to say. Even a friend of mine, I don't even have to show up. Will show up. If she knows we're good friends, she'll leave. So
But she's uber competitive then. She's to another level.
yeah, real self-destructive, I would say. So, but
And yeah, I mean, well, it is what it is. You didn't really have the big clash and showdown with her in the end though. But
no, oh, I wish we did. I wish we did because that's what I always like envisioned. I always thought it was going to be me and her. You know, just because I was like in my mind, I was like, okay, she's been doing it for almost 10 years, and no one's like, you know, challenged her for, you know, um, yeah. And then so Nina and Brittany come out of nowhere, and then you got Natalie, you know.
why do you think this division is on fire right now? Like, how did this happen? The turnaround, because Britt has been here for like
Hmm.
2021 when she won because Bonica wasn't there. And Bonica was kind of like, I mean, I think Bonica was literally like, you won because I wasn't there. Paraphrasing, but it's around that because I remember there was talk of it.
Yeah.
Um, and then they finally clash, and Britt can be like, okay, there's nothing no one can say about this one. So the world is leveling up, and that's amazing for the class. Why do you think that is?
I think there's just more, like social media, there's just more outreach for it. Like we're getting more publicity as a sport. It's easily accessible. Like you can just go to a gym, make sure that you have go to weights, combo. You don't even need a combo rack, you know. But if you just go to an old school gym, it's like just very easy to do. And I do think Bonica really paved that way, you know. Um, but yeah, I just think the what's the word?
Well,
The exposure of powerlifting has gotten to be more, you know.
in
I've
the
seen you know
momentum now
more.
is in the moment exposure helps in the momentum that
Yeah.
you guys are forming because of this. Like
Hmm.
first you need the exposure and you need to capitalize when everyone's watching.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about Eurosport. If that was a dud, that would have set you guys back, that your weight class. But because it was on fire, there'll be other young ladies who are going to watch this and they were tinkering with it. And when they saw that, they're like, okay, no, I'm going in. I
Yeah.
think I want that. They're whatever they were tinkering with several other things in their life. You watch something like that, you get inspired and you're like, okay, we're going to rock and roll now. This is
Hmm.
going to be different. So it brings it all up. Whereas on the flip side, if it wasn't overly intriguing and people aren't really talking about certain battles and showdowns and people getting excited, it's harder to get that exposure and reach. It's harder to make people care. You have to have
Hmm.
different personalities. And you guys got different personalities too, which is good.
Yes. Yeah. I I haven't met the only person I've met in person is Bonica. So very different personality. Um Brittany seems bubbly. kind of. Not to take away. Oh, that was bad. That might have been a bad sentence.
She's like both Sunita and Brittany are like nice. They're,
Yeah.
that's why they're not like trash talking type. They're competitive though. They're super duper competitive. But
Mhm.
they are definitely nice. Like they're
They don't.
definitely
Yeah, they don't show a lot of their personality online, I would think.
that's right. That's true. They
Yeah.
don't yeah. Yeah. They're like in Brittany, here's the thing. Brittany's gonna be hesitant online. You might have seen
Mhm.
she got bullied online and whatnot. She's been on the podcast and talked about it. I don't blame her 100%. She's amazing on a podcast. She can talk freely and is a good speaker. And she's a gamer in terms of game day. Holy shit, does she
Mhm.
rise to occasions as she's proven at Worlds and Sheffield? But she isn't, everybody's got their background story, right? And she's not as
Yeah.
big online due to all the other stuff she's had to deal with before. So I don't blame her at all. But she's a gamer and
Mhm.
she'll get motivated too. If so it'll be interesting. Sunita, um, yeah, Sunita's coming out of Belgium. I gotta have her on
Mhm.
the podcast at some point because she's
Yeah.
talked a little bit about her past and she's got a whole background story herself.
She has a rough past.
Yes.
Yeah.
She
I
talked
think,
openly. This is not she was talking about sexual abuse on one of her
yeah.
posts. I don't know the
Mhm.
full story, but this is all open. And I mean some ladies when a situation like that happens, you start gravitating to be like a strong physically, mentally, and the whole nine, and like your motivation is different and then awareness of it and talking about it.
Yeah. Well, even her, because she used to be in 84, and then Joey found her, or I don't know how the story went down, but she talked about it a little bit, and he was like, "You need to bulk up, and you'll be insane." And, and obviously, he was right. Like, first woman to squat raw 300 kilos, like that's insane.
Yeah.
Like I did that in equipment a year ago, almost 2 years ago, a year and a half ago.
Yeah. No, it to do it at Sheffield when everyone's
Hmm.
watching was important.
Yeah,
Like you need those things to happen
yeah.
when everyone's watching.
Hmm. But just how I'm so glad the sport is going the direction that I envisioned. Like, if you put it into perspective, like Sonita's only been doing this for what, 4 years?
Is it four?
I
Don't
think it's
make me check this up. I could check it out.
like like 4 years ago, our weight class in the sport was not what is not where it's at was not where it's at now.
So need to start in 2020. Yo, you did your research on all these ladies, huh? You know
I
all the
know my
dates. You know all of the dates. You said it like what, like four? You know, damn, you probably know the exact date. Or you know her total.
I'm a scouter.
Yeah, yeah, you're outing yourself as a
I
scouter.
honestly I honestly might do more scouting than Shane, if I'm being honest.
Probably. You were acting like you were guessing, but I got a feeling you knew. There was no guess. I was like, let me look it up. You're like, dude, don't worry about it, Ryan. We're
Don't
all good
worry
here.
about it.
We're
I was a little scared there. But no, I think like the first time she got into the gym was probably 4 years ago or something like that. Um, I'm hitting like year 7. But if you think if I never went to Midland, I would be almost 4 years into international competition. So
do you
3
think
years.
do you
Yeah.
think that your development wise that would have been you'd be different where you are now? Like, what are you thinking about that?
I honestly think I personally I wouldn't have made the same strides like in my personal life, and just how you grow as a person, like moving halfway across the country, you know. It's a 24-hour drive, and I've made that drive like 6 times now. Um, and just like seeing a lot of different people. But then again, I'm from Florida. Like the diversity's fine there. Saw way more than I'll ever see in Nebraska. Um, Powerlifting wise, I just don't. It's always that what if, you know, especially this past year. Like I left the team. I can't lift with the team, but you can find camaraderie like that and a support system at a good gym. And there are some good gyms in Orlando. It, so
How far
I
away is
just
Orlando for you?
I, it's like a 30-minute drive from the gym
Oh,
downtown. Like I live, I'm in a sub city right outside Orlando, but Emily lives closer. So
but when you're finishing work, if it's like 11 p.m., that's a whole nother ball game.
would I be finishing work at 11 p.m. if I lived in Florida? Probably not.
You got to. Oh yeah, where you living right now?
Nebraska.
Okay, you got to get back to Florida.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
Yeah, and your little sister's gonna freaking show you off like crazy.
Oh yeah. No, when I love the gym owner of the gym downtown. I first time I visited, like I got recognized by the front desk guy. And then he introduced me to the owner, and the owner was like, "Oh, you're here for a week, or you're here for like 2 weeks. I think it was like a week and a half. Just come in whenever you want."
Whoa! Damn! How big of a wheel did you feel when that happened? You were like, "You mind? I want to use your office. I got a couple phone calls to make. I got to go." He's like, "All right." And then you leave the office. You're like, I help myself to your lunch, by the way, because that's just how I feel. That's he's like, damn.
Yeah. So I think that was the first taste of okay, it's I'm bigger than I thought, or I get recognized more than I thought. So, but there's a community there. They host like a meet every 3 months there or something like that, every 2 months, and they host PA meets and they host USAPL meets. Um, Bodybuilding is huge in Orlando too, so there's some meatheads in there, bodybuilders and all that. So,
I think the next year of your life could change a lot. I mean, there's World Games, there's Sheffield, there's Worlds. God knows where
mm,
you'll end up with all of this. And if you chase down that thought 735 and become the strongest woman of all time, you'd be crazy not to seriously look at getting some people to do like just cut up a few reels to really capitalize on a title like that. You want to talk about regret? This window is yay big, and
mm,
so few people will ever 7 billion people walking the earth right now, and you'd be the strongest lady ever. Let that sink in. It is 1% of 1%. You would be the outlier of outliers in terms of a strength sport. You would be the apex predator.
mm,
You need to capitalize on that. If you got to start capitalizing probably now that you're making your run towards worlds. So if possible, whenever possible, 100% align yourself with brands that will video for you. Like
yeah.
obviously SBD. You're with SBD, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So those companies are gold because they'll do these packages and promote their athletes anyways. So that'll help
Yeah.
greatly. And then off of that, it's going to help. And obviously, if you end up going to Sheffield and World Games, there's going to be tons of content coming out for you. So the
Yeah.
future's big, but you just gotta. And as a coach, you could capitalize huge for a living.
Yeah. Got to play into it. Yeah.
Let's I do on the podcast a game called the name game where I'll say a name, you tell me one word, two words, story, or whatever you want in response to
Okay.
the name game.
All right.
How does how does that sound, kind lady?
Sounds good. Hopefully, I can come up with. I won't say anything. Don't ask any
Too
out of pocket
spicy?
questions, please.
You're like, she's a bitch. Okay, no, I should have said that. You're like,
Cut it out. Cut it out. Cut it.
cut it out. Hang on, I got too spicy. I got ahead of myself. All right. and then I'll talk a little bit about worlds, and then we'll be good. But all right, first name off the top, Bonica Brown.
Um, challenging.
Challenging.
Yeah.
Okay. Brittany Schlater.
Um, but hardworking. I want a better word, but I can't. Um, resilient.
Hard
I
work.
would say resilient. Yeah.
That's a good one too.
Yeah.
Actually, they're both good. Hardworking and resilient is really good.
Yeah.
Sonita Mulu.
And did you get that? Insane.
What's that?
Like
Sorry.
I said, insane. Like one of a kind. You know. I thought I would be the first one to squat 300 kg. No, she's there, just doing it.
Right. How about this? Austin Perkins.
Oh, um, this isn't negative, but sometimes a showboat. He just has like so much energy, but it's authentic. Like that's how he is all the time. Like we would like when uh when Angelo said, "Why is this kid just bouncing around all the time? Like, can he sit still?" When they were out of meat or whatever. He's like that all the time. Uh, so yeah, energetic.
So I agree. And I don't think that's a negative at all. Like Showboat, I remember even back in the day when he was a junior, the way
Mm-hmm.
he'd carry himself on the platform. I
Yeah,
remember the way he would like smash a deadlift back up with pizzazz, though, back up, damn, just shy of moonwalking back. That's how his backup was like, whoa, like a step back slide, though, and then
yeah.
stand up straight rigid and unclasp his belt, like bam. Like it was like charismatic.
He is probably the entertainer of our lifetime in powerlifting. I think. You know, like once he goes to Worlds, Sheffield. I think he's shooting for World Games. Like, put the camera on him, make the videos of him because he's gonna give you a lot of content, and that's what people like. Online especially. Like he's an entertainer at heart.
He's like when he hit that, it was 825, I think. It was before he hit the 851. I think it was the 825. And then he started putting the crown on his head
Mm-hmm.
after the final pull. And it was like, oh shit. But it was perfect timing because
Yeah.
he's barking down, kicking down the door of Taylor Atwood. And Taylor was king, but he's like, I'm either new king now or going to be. But it just got people talking. And
Yep.
it's things like that on the platform that make people talk. And it's natural for him. He comes on the podcast, those podcasts blow up because he's naturally high energetic. He's going to drop
Yep.
sound bites. He's 74. He's going to go after Russ. Russ is the biggest star in powerlifting. And he'll be like, yeah, I wouldn't mind going head up with Russ. And it's like, oh, and he'll be competitive. Russ
Yep.
is a bigger, stronger man, but it's as 83, Russ has to cut. If Russ just like doesn't cut, whatever, it's different. But if they both cut, or sorry, if Russ cuts and Perk goes in, that would be absolutely bonkers. It
Yeah.
won't happen at Worlds, it won't happen at Sheffield, but it will happen at World Games. If they
Yeah.
both make it that far, we'll see it. And they'll go, I'm sure Perk will try to out total him as a 74 at Sheffield.
He so sadly I only got to see him for maybe 5 minutes in Reno because I flew in, I got to the hotel, and then I coincidentally saw him in the lobby because we were staying at the hotel. But he's like, my flight is literally in 3 hours. Like they're about to leave. And we knew that was gonna happen, but I didn't expect to see him in the hallway of the casino. And I was like, he did so good, like I'm seeing him. and he was upset that he didn't out total Russ. Like he achieved, he looked like genuinely like upset, like could not enjoy what he just did, for the sport, for himself, like because he's having to chase higher things, you know. And I think that's what we see eye to eye on that a lot. Like you could sit here and say, okay, you told 721 and a half, but I'm like, okay, well, both both of them just totaled over 700. Like I'm losing right now, even though I'm ahead. I'm still losing. I'm not out squatting them. You know, even though I have like a 2-to-1 lift, but we see that in the same way. Like what we do can never be enough. It'll never be enough, and I think that's the mindsets of what makes him and someone like him, someone like I, like great. What pushes you to greatness? So like he inspires me every day.
Posted, you guys are all chasing me, referring to the 74s. And just to your point, he said, I'm chasing 83s and 93s. We're not on the same level. And that was a cold as ice quote. Like, ooh, that's cold as ice. But it just speaks to a gentleman in his prime enjoying his prime and athletic greatness, where you're like the next mountaintop. If you guys aren't close enough to me in my weight class, I'm looking to weight class up. And that's no disrespect to Russ. As a matter of fact, it's a tip of the hat to Russ. My friend, you're the king of weight class up, then it's gonna be you. That this isn't whoever's number one in weight class up, it's gonna be you. Because that's the type of special talent I view myself as. And I love that kind of stuff. Who doesn't? When you watch a sport, love greatness, where someone's like, I'm not even thinking about contemporaries in my weight class. I'm thinking a whole nother level up. And if I don't out total the guy a level up, who's the number one guy, I'm like, oh, I got to check myself. Where did I go wrong here? What do I got to do? And whether or not he ever goes head up with Russ and out totals him, chasing him will propel himself more and more and more. And Russ too. Russ came on the podcast afterwards. It's like, look, this kid is a special talent. He's more pound for pound special than I am. I don't want to lose. I don't want to get out total by this dude. So I'm gonna pick my feet up and start jogging. And I mean, competition makes people run a little harder. But to your point, do you think you'll be able to appreciate the moment in the moment if you win worlds, Sheffield, World Games, or do you think, like Michael Jordan once said famously, and a couple other people have said, who you think you want to be like me, but you don't. You see the accolades and you think like yourself where you would appreciate the accolades, but during those moments, I couldn't fully appreciate it because I was always hungry for more, putting myself down. And now that it's all gone, it's too late to look back. It's all gone. And he's like, it isn't as I didn't enjoy the fruits of my labor like maybe I ought to have.
I hope I can because my whole career so far has been okay. You're not actually at the top of. You're not at the top. Like this is just a national meet. Like there are bigger meets out there. And so I never have gotten to fully enjoy them like I wanted to. Um, and sometimes I even forget them because I'm looking so far ahead. And then I just like you black out on the platform and like all that. But I'm hoping worlds will be a little bit different because like I'm finally getting there, and then there's a possibility of also winning it. I just hope I won't overshadow it from the possibility of going to Sheffield. So, and like what that might entail also. Um, but I really hope I can enjoy it because I do agree with that quote. Like everyone wants to be you, but they don't understand like it kind of sucks. Because just the amount of like self criticism and like I almost want to say like self hatred. Like my last deadlift at nationals was initially 2-to-1 no lift. I was like, okay, like that doesn't really matter. I was just so upset Like it got overturned and I was still upset. I was like, we put myself in a position where I didn't need to fail and I failed. You know, because at the end of the day, you go and look back at the playback, like it is a 2-1. So yeah,
It's
it's just
what
it's never
makes
enough. Like I won nationals and I got my ticket to worlds, but I'm still thinking like that. Like like oh, this is a shitty lift. You suck. You should have done more. It shouldn't have moved like that. You know, your squat's not up to par. You only squatted. Yeah, you say stupid shit like that. Like you only squatted, 600 pounds. You only deadlifted 600 pounds. You only benched 350 pounds. You know, you say stupid shit like that. It's not like, oh, I can't believe I got a bench national record and unofficial world record. Even just trying to replay all of that back, I forgot I actually had a bench national record.
yeah, that's
Like
kind of big.
it's insane. It's insane to think that way and to always think that way. And then, but you have people constantly praising you, you know, and it sounds bad. People are like, why can't you just be grateful? But has all of that, like understanding that like I'm not the best, like you won't be the best until you do this, this, and this. Is that what has gotten me to this point? So it's tough. It is tough.
You're probably right though, in terms of if I was satisfied or if I that might be the gift and the curse.
Yeah.
Look, I talked to guys like Delaney Wallace, two-time world champ, and he critiqued his performance because he wasn't hitting PRs at Worlds, and he wasn't fully satisfied. But you want to tell him making a world team doesn't is never guaranteed. You may never come back again. You want to tell him you're a world champion now. You have to be like, my this dream. This is what people in all sports look to. I hope you appreciate it. And this is where, if I can give you anything, if you win at Worlds in you win ugly, they say like if the total you don't PR, like Matt Gary says this all the time. You're not here to PR, you're here to win. Even if you win ugly, just win. A famous freaking football coach said that in one of the Super Bowls. I don't care if we won ugly. Don't tell me because the press was asking him about it. He's like, we won, right? That's
Yeah.
all that matters. Stay in that pocket because I'm telling you, the world shifts. A phenom comes out of nowhere. Some German lady comes. Oh my God, I'm never going to know when. Who knows if you win one, if it's your last one. So you
Yeah.
always want to be like, all right, I'll beat myself up in a week or something, but I have to enjoy the fact that I am a world champion. It's tough though. You're right. It's tough.
I, I believe it comes from people saying like, okay, if you're at the top of the food chain, it's harder to stay there than it is to fight for it. So if you stay in the mindset of you're always being chased and you're never satisfied, like you don't want to accept that like you're a world champion or you have world records or like you're on the world's team. Um, if you become satisfied, it gives you that satisfaction. You become relieved. So your stress goes away.
Mm.
you know so then you're not always in that drive mode that you're being chased, because if you're being chased you're going to be pushing the hardest you ever can. But if you realize, oh, I'm not being chased anymore, or like I'm not chasing something anymore, like then you stop running. That's what animals do. That's their instinct. I'm not you know
That's in business. That's in everything, by the way. When a
yeah.
competitor enters, only when a competitor enters in everything in life are you think you're working hard, and you probably are, but you will never be working as hard as when someone is breathing down your back and going to take everything you have.
Yeah.
Wake up. I mean, if it's business or whatever, wake up being like, I got to figure this out. Everything has to be more efficient. You think you're working hard until everything you have, and that we're talking business, let it be your identity as a power lifter, let it be your dreams in a sport, whatever it is. Wake up knowing somebody woke up a half hour earlier
Yeah.
and go to sleep knowing somebody stayed up a little later
Mm.
and finish your sets knowing you left without doing your accessories. Give those fucking Spanish men those goddamn hamstring at the show like they deserve, because they know on Wednesday, the next Wednesday you come in, like, what the fuck was Wednesday, 5 o'clock? What was going on? You didn't show up. You know what I'm saying? You're like,
Yeah.
gentlemen, hold me accountable because I've been skipping those. But it's true. It yeah, competition is a good thing. And I do wonder what might have Sunita been doing if she had 3, 4 ladies this whole time, or all
Mm.
of the 84 pluses, all of these weight classes, the 59s, whatever. Now that the weight classes are now starting to fill in depth wise for talent, those are the classes that you're going to see. Look at the 69 kilo class. My God. Agata, Leah Babwa doing 585. Jessica Bittner, a weight class up at 76, was winning worlds in 2022. That's not ancient history, 2022. Winning
No.
worlds of 585. That's 76 kilo numbers. These ladies, Leah Babwa could still make 63 kilos if she wanted. These ladies aren't even real 69s. They don't even weigh in 69 on the day of, let alone cut to it. They're not real 69s. She's doing 585 because there's competition all over her. Gara, Agata, because she had to. But if they weren't around, come on, man. It's not the same. I don't know.
If I was a smaller person, like in a small, lighter weight class, I would be scared shitless because of what Agatha Sitko did at
Oh,
Sheffield.
yeah.
Like, I, I'm literally here thinking, okay, if I went to the last Sheffield and I totaled 5 kilos more than my best total, I would have won all of Sheffield. But now you got Sitko over here cutting down a weight class and making it almost impossible for me to do that. I'm like what? Like literally shitting your pants. Like my plan has gone to shit. But that's the good of it all.
And she's such a tiger. She won Sheffield and, the Battle of the 69s. And for the world championship, I was like, so are you going to go as a 69 just to collect that title? And then you can move up to 76 to go for another title. And I'm not saying it's a foregone conclusion. She'll win 69s to collect the title, but she'd be the favorite, right? With all due respect. And she was like, no, I'm going 76 because what happened when I got unfinished business with Carlina. And she's such a freaking lion. She's like, no, I want a world title, yes. But that's not going to. Carlina has unfinished business with me, and we need to sort that out because it's bothering me. And
That's
and she's not sleeping well at night with it. And it's like, God bless. Because the way you describe like yourself, Perk, and everybody, that's her too, though.
yeah.
You guys are all like that, where it's like, no, it probably bothers her to the day where she's like, I could have beat Carlina. I didn't. The
Mm-hmm.
world doesn't know I can. That's just me saying it until I show the world. And Carlina, who's also a lion,
Mm-hmm.
is come, come on up. Come on
Yeah.
up. You think I'm afraid of you? I watched Sheffield. Yeah, I was there. Come on up. You didn't see the
That's
best of me either. So I love it. That's the stuff that makes you like, oh shit. Carlina, because Carlina's no punk neither. I love it.
you want to I can't wait for the day when we can be full professionals and put 100% of ourselves into powerlifting. Like let's say next 10 years, maybe even 5 years. I don't know the timeline, but where would we all be at if we could just all focus on powerlifting? Like you didn't have to go to work 40 hours a week.
Mm.
You know, do you know what I'm saying?
Well, for sure. Some of these, the advantage that some of these people have is they're full-time coaches and they can revolve their working around their training, which hopefully happens to you. I
Yeah.
hope your sponsors, money you make in money meets, which are going more and more opportunities
Mm-hmm.
as well. And you're seeing this pop up. SBD's got a bunch now, and there's some in France and there's some all over the place, as well, like as well as your coaching, all the rest of it. That's what I hope happens for you this go around this year. It probably will. And then let's really see what you do when you're not training at 11 a freaking clock at night or whatever the hell, and you're not doing 20,000 steps, then training. And it's just your work revolves around your training, and it should,
Yeah.
because your performance as an athlete will boost up your work. Like you are your biggest marketing tool
Mm.
is you and your athletic performance. And so you'll treat your work like you're working out as work. And I think that's happened for a lot of people already, and it's going to happen more and more and more and more and more. Like Jesus Oliveira, a lot of those guys are just smashing weights and coaching and taking sponsorship money and whatnot. That'll happen for you. That'll happen for you. That's about to happen for you. Let's put your foot on the gas, kid. This is you're going to change your life. You're 23 too, which
Mm.
is in 5 years you're still in you're gonna be in your 20s for a long time. Let alone and you could be doing this in your 30s. You
Yeah.
know, like strength lasts forever. And yeah, who knows the battles? We'll see. It'll be fun. I got more names on the name game, by the way. We're still playing.
Okay.
This,
Oh, we got
but
sidetracked.
this is what I love about the name game. Sometimes you get a one-word answer, sometimes you get a story, sometimes it just stimulates a discussion. That's why the name game's beautiful. You never know where it's gonna go. All right, that was Austin Perkins, by the way, that got us going
Yeah.
on that. That
Yeah,
was
that
where
was
we left off. I don't know how the hell
that's because
that
I know
we
him
got.
personally. That's why, is it? I got more
I
to
mean,
say.
I forgot who the hell were we even talking about?
Yeah.
What are we doing here? But all right, Chloe Dublin Nut.
Oh, I don't even. Well, so we were in Reno and we were out. Um, and I told her, like, we're just walking in the casino. I told her, I was like, I feel like you're on your last life. So if you kind of a theory, like if reincarnation is real, you reincarnate and you learn something new every life, and then on your last life, it's supposed to be like you don't make a lot of mistakes, you make the right choices, you always like you just know how to navigate life really well. I told her that because she always somehow knows what to say. You know, I don't.
I I do, and
She
if
like
that's real, I am not on my last life
I'm not.
because I make mistakes. All right, if that's real, no,
Yeah,
you learn from all your mistakes. You cleaned it all up. Like, God damn, what life am I on, man? My first? What the? I'm like a fucking
I,
rookie out here, despite my age. But it makes sense.
it's just when people say you're an old soul because they
Mm,
just somehow know, like, and they're very comfortable within themselves, very confident within in themselves. Like she's doing amazing things, you know. Just her whole life, you know. I lived with her for 2 summers in a row at her family's house. So I lived with her whole family, Shane, Chloe. I stayed there in Indiana, so I'm really close with them. Um, as one of her bridesmaids at her wedding, her and Shane's wedding. Beautiful. So I know her very personally, and it just amazes me at how well she can keep her head on herself with everything she's got going on.
mm.
So, because
It,
I do things and how I react to them, she'll react differently. She just has a better perspective. So,
having people like that in your life are key for when you need someone to get advice or someone hits the fan. You're like, I can call this person. That is, people say like, I got your back, and they're in their version of got your back. Someone comes at you, you go back at them, social media, or something happens, and that's high school. Real life got your back is shit hits the fan, and I could call you and you counsel me. Like, here's what you're gonna do. Here's how we navigate this. Here's my suggestion for you. Or they just give perspective, don't worry, and whatever it is. And that's where someone like Chloe or whatnot becomes like the most crucial of contacts and friends. And you always, whenever you find someone like that in your life, you hang on to those people.
yeah. Yeah. And she's just like insane. Like she's an all-around athlete. Like you call me an athlete? No, no, no. She still has her like high school record for long jump. And
Nice.
she's at a it's a pretty competitive high school where she's from. Um and then she was also like a dancer, and then she has more accolades in powerlifting and achievements. Like just like she has a medal thing. Insane to
Her
look at.
trophy chest. I had her on
Yeah.
a podcast back in the day. Yeah, she's a full on freak athlete.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it sucks. She wasn't in the A group for the 76s at the American Nationals, but I think she got a silver, unless I'm remembering this wrong,
Got
from the
second
B
place.
group without having the benefit of being against her competition. She's posted up. Like she's a phenomenal athlete for sure. We haven't
Yeah.
seen the last of Chloe Dublin.
No, no, no. And she's doing all that while in medical school. So
Yeah.
and now she's in equipment. So
Yeah.
I don't know how she does it. I don't know how she does it.
Fair enough. How about this person? Shane Nut.
Oh. Um kind of I don't know. Like he's one like I don't have a lot of guy friends and he's one of them.
You don't have a lot of guy friends? I would have thought because you're in powerlifting and you're in gyms all the time and it would just happen. But no.
Not someone like you have acquaintances and like yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
but
Fair.
I'm talking about like like he just knows a lot. He's my coach, best friend. I met him through Chloe. So he he taught me how to fish. Like just I've interned with him. Like he's taught me about coaching. Um, he keeps my head on my body most of the time. Just like reminding me like why we're doing this. Um, but no, in the same way, like I think like he'll be one of those people who stays in my life for a long time. So
Can I say something? That's one of the cutest things I've ever heard when you said he taught me how to fish. That's
well, I mean, it's funny because I'm from Florida, but like I didn't. So, but you're like you don't have a lot of guy friends. Well, I don't date men either, so it's just, like I don't. So
yeah, but I mean, you can still have guy friends though. But fair
yeah,
enough. It is what it is, right? I know what you mean. Where there's levels of what you call a friend, where someone was actually saying about this on a podcast I was listening to. There are people that if you were to call them at like 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday because something you needed them, there's some people you would never, and you just sort out another way to deal with the problem. There's other people like shit's hitting the fan, like holy fuck, and you could call them. Not like you do for frivolous things. I'm just saying that person would pick up, be like, "What's up?" And if you're like shit hit the fan and I'm freaking the hell out, and they're like, "Relax, let's talk about it." Or other people you're like you would never in a million years think about calling because you're like, "This is crazy. Don't bother them. Deal with it." Whatever it is. And again, not for a frivolous thing, but there's difference. There's 2 o'clock in the morning friends, and there's 9 p.m. friends. And those probably are friends. Those are more acquaintances. It's just I get what you mean, is
yeah,
what I'm trying to say, where there's levels to this game. So but yeah.
and it
But so
was
those
yeah,
sorry, go
and it
ahead.
was kind of weird because we didn't get close until he like graduated and moved away from Nebraska. So it's just
Really?
yeah, yeah, because he didn't train with the team at all, so I never saw him in his last year at Midland. So, but I'd be like, I would ask him like, "Hey, is Chloe coming in?" Like he was at one point, he was just Chloe's boyfriend, which is funny to think now. Because I text him,
Interesting.
we text every day, like it's.
That isn't life funny how
Yeah,
people can get brought into your life or they've been in your life and you just weren't close and then you end up being close. You're like, oh shit. I,
mm-hmm.
this whole time we could have been friends. We wasted a bit of time here, didn't we? Oh,
Yeah.
but at least you got him now. I mean, whatever. It's, you got him for the rest of your life, like you're saying. So whatever, it makes for a better story. How about this person? SBD general and family member of those people, Justin Nutt.
Just, oh, he's amazing. He's a sweetheart.
That's
Like,
that's probably the best way to describe him. He legitimately is a sweetheart.
yeah. Like he's softer than Shane. Like he has a softer demeanor. Like Shane's gonna look all like tough, but then Justin's like a I don't know, teddy bear version. But
And he's a workhorse, let me tell you.
he is.
I you see him at an event, he's strong as shit too. He competes and lifts, but you see him at an event working. I don't know. I've seen like you think we're talking about work ethic. This dude from morning to way hours a night, wake up in the morning. Sheffield rolls around. My man, the last few weeks is sleeping like 3, 4 hours. It's crazy.
Yes. Yeah, no. Um I like overheard Shane talking to someone and they were like, "Do you think Justin could be like a really good powerlifter if he focused on it?" And Shane was like, "Oh yeah," because Shane obviously trained, programs and trains him. Um, so they're just all of them are very multifaceted. Uh,
Justin, like he's strong as shit. There's no question he could be a really good power lifter if he went
yeah.
full on, but we need him in the role he's doing. People don't
Yes.
know, people do not realize how important he is as a piece of powerlifting. And if he just bloop, popped out, got a different job, and went in on powerlifting as an athlete,
Yeah.
good for him. I'm sure he'll do some damage and his numbers will fly up because he's strong as shit with just as much as he's doing. But there would be a gap.
Who's
I'm telling
reporting on
you,
it? Like
yeah,
who's the media out there for it? You know?
we need him in the role he's in. He's sacrificing some things, but he does good work. And whatever. And he's making a career out of it. So he's being compensated, I'm sure. But yeah, I got one more for you. And this is somebody on the surface when I say the name might seem not like odd, but if you think about possible trajectories and what you might accomplish, maybe you're following in the footsteps in a way. Jesus Oliveras.
Uh, one of the greats. First time I met him was in Reno. Um, and he did the speech and then I shook his hand. That's basically our whole interaction. But what's your thought process?
Because Jesus came in around the same age as you, and you have an opportunity. And I'm not looking past any other 84 pluses. As a matter of fact, you have maybe even a better opportunity because your weight class is far more competitive than his, which is a massive advantage in sports. It's the only reason why we watch sports is to watch people compete. That's a huge advantage for you. But you also have an opportunity to become the strongest human walking the world in of all time. And you can do so with the world's is set up, Sheffield is set up, now World Games is set up, like your pathways are all there. There's a lot now you have that weight class. That's going to make it more difficult just to hit those pathways. But that's a gift and a curse because if you can do it, the story and the fans that you'll gather along the way will be even greater because they'll see battle after battle and oh my god, will she win, can she do it? But what he accomplished being like the top, being looking around and being like there's no one else, it's just me. This isn't crazy to say. You could be at Sheffield and at his first Sheffield appearance he became the strongest man that ever powerlifted, period. You could do the same. 735. Now, I don't know if that's going to move, but let's say like you could do the same. Like your trajectory and what you could do with this platform, it's there, but you have competition, which makes it more difficult to do, but also way better to watch as a fan. Way more entertaining. Is like, holy shit, it's going to come down to the last dead. And, so you could see what he's done. He's a few years ahead, but you could see what you could do. He's also a powerlifting coach, etc., and whatnot. There's a bit of a blueprint there for you,
Mm.
ambitions wise, to take a look. So, anyways, yeah, that you we'll see how it all. No pressure, by the way, no pressure. How did you feel about? So, what do you think about the comparison? Is it kind of? I mean, you put the pressure on yourself. You say yourself, like, I see myself as the strongest woman in the world. You kind of do see yourself like the same vein,
Yeah,
right?
it's a good comparison. Um, yeah, I
And
see where you get. I see what you're saying.
your careers might be. We'll see. It'll be exciting as shit to see it unfold.
It it's kind of crazy of me to think we're the same age.
He's a stitch older, is he not? He's a couple years older.
Isn't he 23? Am I not?
No, no, no. Hey, hold on. Oh, you finally got a stat you fumbled because he's not an opponent. See, if he's not an 84 plus, your stats, your trivia unfolds. Let me take a look.
My trivia unfolds. I'm pretty sure I
You're
thought.
undefeated. Your 84 plus trivia is on point. He was 25 at Sheffield in February, so he's probably 25 still, but
Okay, okay,
couple
okay.
of years. So this is what I'm saying. He's a couple years ahead, but in a couple of years you'll have who knows where you'll be at.
He's. I hope I get to that level where I can reach outside of the powerlifting community. Because sometimes if you go to a gym and you have people who like just know about general strength training, like they know about powerlifting, they know about somewhat about Olympic weightlifting and like bodybuilding, and then just general fitness influencers on Instagram. If you throw out the name Jesus Alvarez, might know it. I hope I get to that point. That's that's where I want to see women's powerlifting get to.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Like I listen to MMA podcasts, and they brought up Jesus Oliveira because he's the
yeah,
strongest man alive, and that's
yeah,
where. And previously, to picture the women's doing it would be difficult, but now after seeing 84 plus is what it's like now in this climate, you can. And Eurosport, the way their TV producers reacted to it, and CBS, and it's going to be on it again. And now it's become one of the hot divisions where it's like, you don't want to miss this.
yeah.
Now you can. Now you can. And Sonita doing 300 kilos at Sheffield, and like, now you can. You need these people who are your competitors. Like, this is
Mm-hmm.
all good. It's more pressure, it's more difficult, whatever. That's life.
Like I think I've had people. Okay, if I meet someone and I say I'm a powerlifter and like I'm highly competitive, they might throw out, "Oh, do you know that girl? She went on Ellen and she deadlifted 600 pounds." I need like that's the level I think we need to be on.
Well, that 735 is Tamara Walcott, who was on Ellen. You listen, it's there for you.
Yeah.
It's there for you. And when she competes, she has to do a one-off on Ellen. When she competes, she's not on Eurosport, she's not on CBS, she's not on Sheffield. You got the platforms that are much, much, much bigger. And you have the competition around you, which she doesn't have either. So it's there.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk in a couple of years and let's see how it all shakes up. But listen, I appreciate you coming on the podcast. We blew through. We're over 2 hours now. We've
Oh,
cut into you. Let me also. We cut into UFC 300. I ain't even mad at that. That's how good this conversation is. And I'm a MMA nut. You are amazing on podcast. You got to come back on either leading into Worlds or after Worlds, and like you got to come back on more often because you're good at these free flowing conversations and articulating
definitely,
stuff.
definitely. You're an amazing host.
Well, thank you. Well,
Yeah.
thank you. We'll see each other soon. We'll talk in the DMs and we'll keep in touch.
Yeah.
All right. Talk to you later. And everyone listening, as per usual, please do subscribe, give us high ratings, and until next time, six pack Lapadat. 6 up. And we're out.